Welcome, seekers. Thank you for your interest. I say seekers because I believe it takes a certain type of personality to want to find something beyond the mundane, something beyond the linear. First, I'd like to give you a brief introduction. My name is Susie, and I have been a student of tarot for over 30 years. I was first interested in astrology at a young age, and one day I went to a tarot reader and I was fascinated. I immediately purchased a deck. Of course, it was the Rider-Waite deck, and I was home. It was pretty lucky that I also included, or that it also included astrology and numerology and the mysteries, which has always intrigued me. I have studied mediumship and channeling at the Arthur Findlay College in England with some amazing psychics and mediums and really wonderful, helpful people. I've worked internationally and here in the States, but my true learning was in Europe. And now I want to pass on the amazing things that I have learned, but also some stuff I have uncovered on my own, and just let you know or show you how flexible the tarot really is. I won't teach you the tarot in these journaling exercises, but you can inadvertently get to know the cards, and of course, I can always give a course later if you want. Um, but this is about the discovery and the empowerment of self with a capital S. The supplies you'll need will be paper and pen, basically. I highly suggest you keep a journal, but you can do this on your tablet or your phone, your computer as well. I also suggest you find some art materials like markers, colored pencils, paints, anything else that you would like to use in your own personal journal and how you would like it to look. I'll explain more as we dive into the entries. I'm sure this will develop and change as we do, but this is a very nice, soft jumping off point. So, why journaling? Well, if you've already had consistently journaled, I don't think I have to tell you about its benefits. On a particular level, it's really good for mental health. It can be easier to vent with no filter and no judgment. You can track yourself and how you handle things each time with the expansion of your mind and with new available choices. You can respond with, instead of just acting unconsciously or from the subconscious. So it's really very self-empowering. You can become aware of your own personal philosophies, and as you expand, you can watch them transform and see how they stand the test of experiences that we're all subject to in our life. And many people find it meditative, so you have the opportunity to cultivate a quality mind. I personally use it to journal my soul journey, the great work. I use tarot and its imagery to build a language between me and my soul. And my guides use the tarot with me as well because this is my language. I've studied it. I assigned preferred meaning to the cards, and I can receive information through it. When I'm doing a psychic reading without the tarot, I often see a card in my mind's eye. Not exclusively, but it's part of my vocabulary. It is a language, and you can communicate with your higher self. But first things first. This journal is only for your eyes. Keep it private. Use a second version if there are excerpts that you would like to show someone else, but this book really should strictly be for you. This allows you to write without any filters. A healthy mind, a healthy spirit. I don't know what more you could possibly want. Uh, that's why journaling. There are several strategies. I'm not one for particulars. I think it is something that should be approached naturally as you see fit, but I will say what many have said before. A lot of people enjoy doing it first thing in the morning. Some prefer right before they go to sleep, like a review of the day. I suggest either is fine, do what feels natural, but I do think what is important is to carry a smaller version or a small notebook with you at all times. And I say that because epiphanies come at any time they feel like it. There's no, it's not just in the morning or in the evening, and it's nice to be able to record them in the moment, in the excitement of it as it's happening. And then later on, you can reflect with the following entry. You can bullet journal, and I do that often. And I will, when suggesting particular entries, let you know when I think it would be beneficial for you to do so, but you approach it any way you like. And lastly, I believe it would be most beneficial to allow both sides of the brain equal opportunity. So I will ask you to use a more creative approach to some of the entries, and I'll explain when we get to it. Okay? We're going to begin with working with 2 initiator cards as we are initiating something new in our lives, which is journaling. And this entry we will start at the beginning and the end, which is the Fool. It is the first and last card of the Major Arcana. He is the beginning and the end of each journey because the journey never ends. After one cycle ends, a new one begins infinitely. And you can think of 0 as an egg or a seed, if you will. It is self-contained. It has all the elements it needs to make the journey, to be a chicken, to be a tree, a plant, a ball, whatever. Therefore, this card indicates that we can act in full faith that no matter what happens along this journey, there is something necessary for our growth, and in the end, we come back to 0 and start fresh, but with an expansion of information for the next journey. The Fool is the eternal journey, the hero's journey, they say. So this is enough information for this particular entry for the Fool card. So what I'd like you to do is to study the Fool card for a few minutes. And you can pause the video if you need to. You may even want to take a screenshot of the card if you don't have it yourself, so you can study it later on. But you can always come back to the video. So first we're going to approach this with our left brain. We'll call it our left brain entry. And you can even leave a side of the, use the left side of the journal for the left brain and the right side for the right brain. Or you can divide up one page and use the top for the left, the bottom for the right, whatever, but there will be a clear delineation of both sides of the brain and the entries. So the first question, or the first thing that you're going to journal, one of the entries, is what object in this image, or the card of the Fool, best represents your highest belief? And then I'd like you to elaborate. So you have a sun, you have a white flower, there's a dog, there's a very colorful tunic, there's a wreath around his head, the red feather, the bag that he is carrying, the sun, the high altitude of the mountains, whatever, I mean, even his boots, anything, the green tights, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you choose, but it has to explain or give you the impression of what your highest belief is, and then elaborate on that. The second question I'd like you to explore is what image in this card best represents your reward for remaining true to that highest belief? And again, elaborate on that. The third exploration is what image in the Fool card best represents a challenge you are currently facing? And again, elaborate. So you can use bullets to list the images and then elaborate them on them later. Or you could just list the image, do a small paragraph, and then keep coming back to elaborate more, or as things transform, you can add on to that, so you might want to leave some space for more writing. The fourth question for the left brain is a review. What did I learn about myself today? How might that help me tomorrow and further into my future? So again, you're going to want to leave some space, or maybe on the right side of the page you can elaborate. Something like that. You can set it up any way you want to. But you probably will continue to come back to these questions as you progress through the weeks with this particular card. Now we're going to do the right brain. And the right brain is your creative side. Your left brain is your more logical side. So I'm going to ask you to pick one of the images you chose from the left brain entries and find an image on the internet, like Pinterest or Pixels, or any image that you can find. You can use a magazine, you can use the internet, it doesn't matter. You can draw it yourself, but it really has to speak to you. And I would like you to creatively work with it. So you can print it and use it, make collages, you can draw or trace it, whatever sparks your imagination. But this is the right brain creative imagery that I would like you to create. And for the second instruction, I would like you to repeat the most important phrase that struck you in your entries and use it in the above project. So the pictures that you use. So it's maybe your motto, or just a phrase that really stuck with you that you can use again later on when you're in a moment, when you're having some difficulty. That is an easy sort of catchphrase that will kind of get you out of a negative mind or emotional quality, and bring you back to what you have learned or what you are learning in this in these entries. Then I want you to just have fun with it. That's the idea here, is to enjoy yourself. And I think that's the best way to learn, is to have fun with something. So don't take it overly seriously, but I mean, the idea here is to learn something new about yourself, and to use that information when you need it the most. It's very often that we grab onto an emotion or a thought that we have been conditioned to, or that's easy for us to hold on to or to grab. It just seems like a habitual response. And these things kind of jar us and get us out of that habitual response and condition your brain, or create a new neural pathway where this better response can form and create a sort of neuro superhighway, if you will, and help you to steer your thoughts, your emotions, where it is you would like them to go. I'm going to leave you with that for now. I will be back I'm probably going to give you about a month with this, but you can comment, you can put anything you want in the comments, and I'm happy to answer anything. Later on, I think I will show you what I've done myself so that you get a good idea of what's going on, and that'll probably follow this video. And if you don't want to see that, or you don't want to be influenced, it's probably a good time to go ahead and turn it off, the video off, after I'm finished here. But I would really like you to kind of get creative with both writing and, the visuals, and mostly to have fun. Okay, I'll leave you with this for now. And like I said, you can pause the video now or stop it and come back to it later, and see how I've approached this particular entry. Okay, thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Take care. Okay, so if you stuck around, I'm now going to show you the beginning of my right brain entry. I think the left brain are pretty self-explanatory and private. So I don't mind showing you the right brain entry. I did it in Procreate. I think I then like to use it rather in GoodNotes, where it is already in journal form and I can write easier than Procreate. It's just better organized in journal form. I can also print out and paste the visual into an actual physical journal if I wanted to, or if I felt like GoodNotes isn't really cutting it for me. But until now, I do a lot in that app, so I'm pretty comfortable with it, and it's easy. But there are several, so use what's best for you. I have read that it is better to handwrite in a journal, but I say experiment and see what fits you best. It's an option. Okay, so the first question of the right brain entry was asking for an image that represented my personal highest belief in the Fool card, and I chose the image the dog. For me, the dog is his companion, but it's also, for me, very symbolic of guides, of my higher self, of my other self, um, the help that you receive that doesn't come from the tangible world. I made a pattern of dog. And I'll explore why I chose pattern instead of just one image of dog. I chose the pattern. And there's a reason behind everything. So those are the small details that you can kind of dig into. Why did I do this, and what does that mean for me? That kind of exploration through the visual. Also, the colors that I used. Why did I use those colors? What do they mean to me? It all sort of adds up, but that's stuff that you can do as you progress through it. You have a good month and longer if you want to. I probably won't post another one for a month, but we'll see. I would then go to the second question, and that is what was the reward for remaining true to that belief? And I chose the image of the sun. For me, that is source. It's creator. It creates, it gives life, it gives energy for life. We all have a spark of the divine. But really, for me, this represents clarity and wisdom. And since I am a seeker, it makes sense, right? So the third question is the challenge I am currently experiencing, and I chose the image of the Fool himself, beginning a new adventure without a clue of what challenges lie ahead, and yet I'm eager for the reward. And the reward is that clarity, the wisdom that comes from Source. And it's also the experience itself that I'm having. The challenges and the rewards that inform me. Experience is the source of my conviction. And for that, I must fail and make mistakes. An experience must be complete. It has two sides. It is my mission, actually, then, to fail and make mistakes sometimes. And I must admit, it can stop me in my tracks sometimes, and this is really good for me to remember. Because sometimes I may take a pause or enjoy a temper tantrum or two, but I never give up. I mean, what else would I do, right? So everything else is kind of personal for me. I delve deeper into these images and what they mean to me, and again, why I chose particular colors, why I chose particular images, and just sort of write about them. But I did want to share this visual, and like I said, it will evolve as I do, but this is the core, the bare bones, and it's the truth of the matter. And truth is simple, so I do like to often keep it simple. Also, the motto that I ended up kind of at this point writing is, wisdom is acquired from mistakes and failures when I remain loyal to my vision. Now the vision can be the big journey itself, life's journey, or it can be the small little creations that I do. Or it could just be getting up in the morning and, having a day. So it's still that I have to remain true to myself, to what I love, like the dog. Okay, well, I hope this has been helpful. I think you get the gist of what I'm talking about, but like I said, approach it any way you want to. Have fun with it. I'll be back. Maybe I might do some supplemental questions in between, maybe like in 2 weeks or something. And still, in regards to the full card, we'll start the next card um, in a month. Okay? All right, sweet. Enjoy.